So able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see us. You're good to go.
Great. Okay. So good morning and good afternoon, everyone. So thanks for the great opportunity. So let me start with that. Uh, so I'm happy to see all the people again once again. So I could see like more than 40 plus people in this track one. So it's really good to go with that. So um, the first and foremost things like so this one day virtual thing. So we have a lot of winning existing prize competitions quiz programs. So please participate and win the existing exciting gifts. So it will be really learning the technology as well as like winning the gift is really the double bumper, right? So please participate on that part as well. Yeah, coming to this one. So I'm Shantabhav Pandian. I'm AI data architect. So currently I'm in UK. So here it's pretty early morning. It's 6:45 a.m. So thanks for this opportunity. So present my the knowledge and sharing with the bigger audience. So the session topic is Azure Blueprint provision for data analytics and AI platform. Right. So this is a very interesting topic, and recently the most of the development activities like we are planning to implement. We are implementing with this the blueprint provision sources. So as you know that, right? So the Microsoft, the Azure, the every day is they're building the new capability and bringing into the platform. And as a like the what is it like technical capability, so we are started adapting that and make a lot of benefits to the our technology escape as well as what is that like customer benefit as well. So this one is actually just I want to bring the best example sample for you guys. So probably we know, right? So the blueprint. So when we are like started building the houses, so we used to have the blueprint. That's like a majorly we had to started hearing this specific word, the buzzword, right? So probably like 20-30 years before and all, so there was like the proper the even the what is that like the uh, the design the design for the plat diagram, it would be like in the blue color, and it's like drawn by the engineers, and it like precisely saying that what's the size of the each and every rooms and size, and what is the ventilation, where the door, and where it's going to be, all the things like properly maintained. And the same time they will managing what is it like where the electrical plugs, even this is actually the layout. And the same time, so we used to build, I mean like the engineers used to build the different layers, what is that like with respect to the blueprint. So it could be electricity, and it could be a plumbing work, and it could be like a security aspect, so many things. But when it coming to when I'm building our the cloud data platform, so generally we have some checklist. I understand that because actually even we are doing that many years, like for multiple customers. So we are building that the specific the checklist. So what are the things we need to handle, and how we can we're going to build the different environment, like it is going to be a dev environment, testing, UAT, pre-prod or prod, whatever it is. So we have a bunch of the checklist with us, and we started building the application and the what is that platform, data platform for data analytics and AI perspective. So we know, right, what are these components going to become, and basically like so there might be a challenges for providing access, and who need the access, what access, how many resource they need for different layers. That and all really challenging for us because like it's a like what is it, a vast area. So we have to understand like what are the different components for different layers, and what are the different roles for a different users. So it could be a developer, it could be a testers, or it could be like end users, so something like that. So really we are challenging with this. But now the Azure, they provided the coming up with the new the what is that like the new resource, they're nothing but the Azure blueprints. So this actually it's really as a like very easy way to build our what is that like the entire capability, I would say. So the components as well as the policy perspective, so we can go ahead one set as a go. So no need to like have what number of we used to have a ARM template for the resources, and separately we have to manage with the policies setting with the different layers. So all together coming as a packet, sizable packet. So from that we used to create, and underneath we need to adapt everything. So our job is very fast. The development activity we can start in quicker. So that's a very important reason with respect to the Azure Blueprint services. Microsoft build and deploy a repeatable collection of resources. That's what I mentioned. Like it could be any kind of, for example, if I'm building one new project, so in proposal, once we start with that, so initially we need like a development environment and a test environment, and then once like it's done, then we need to build the same way for UAT and production. Obviously it's like a high scale one. So in that condition, if I have my blueprints way of what strategy plans, I'm going with this way. So the building what is that, like the complete entire environment is very easy and easy deployable. So that's the basic idea here. Because actually every time we are struggling with that, because when you're working with one project, again we have this different data product we are building. We need similar kind of environment. Again we need to find out like what are the resources we need and other stuff. But if you have our blueprint, quickly we can done the job and we can move on that one. Okay, right. So what are the challenges? The challenges is everywhere, right? So when you're building any application, like this could be web application, it could be like a cyber security perspective, or it's going to be like um, what is that, like data migration or data analytics or AI, whatever it is, there should be definitely challenges. So specific to the AI and the data analytics specific, so there are a lot of challenges, but I just like for this discussion, I shortcut that the very few things. Majorly, this is going to be like the let of data governance and infrastructure point of view, as I discussed like earlier. So when this is actually the life cycle, so because we need to like set up the appropriate security and the cost optimization, of course, and operational excellence and reliability and performance efficiency. So all these things are actually is like the chasing me for whenever I'm building my data analytics platform. It could be a platform, whatever it is. So definitely all this, the parameters, I would say the factors will influencing my development activity, right? I need to like security, how we are going to build, how we are going to make sure the reliability, and operational excellence, how we are going to performance efficiency. So when I'm talking about that, at least this blueprint actually giving like a minimum 5 to 10 percentage pain, like I can reduce with all these factors. If I'm started using all this my like the blueprints, because actually we are for trial and error purpose, actually we started using few months back. So our trial and error perspective, so that's really okay, good. I'm sure about that. So we are experimenting with that, and even customers also very happy about that. Okay, right. So as I mentioned, like we need a proper plan. As I mentioned, like a proper plan for building the home. What are the different rooms we are going to occupy, and what are the like facilities? I mean, like how many windows, how many doors, and all we have. In a similar way, the blueprint, Azure blueprints also like helping us to build precisely what exactly we need. The blueprint mostly like is like ensures that the final product you are going to try to build will follow the certain requirement and standards. So if you're going to build some data product, so you need to put all the things, like you have need to list out all the components, what are the things we need, and along with that, what access policies we need. All the things actually we need to incorporate within the a single package. The Azure blueprint works as a technical drawing plan, as I mentioned earlier, plan for Azure resources, yes, of course, and then it helps to building and deploying Azure service quickly with the predefined standards and requirements, right? And the blueprints is a scope to the subscription level, so that is really helping us to like, so what is it, like a license could be how many developers we are going to use, so we can have it a single subscription or a multiple subscription, so that level also we can go ahead, right? So this specific item, I mean, like the resource, like I would say the blueprints. So it's really comparing with its ARM and again Azure policy. What we are using, that is this the same thing? We could think about that. Yes, of course, because in ARM template, there is a remain no active relationship between the deployment and application template. Yes, and ARM doesn't have native in Azure. So we have a multiple tools we can build that and we can deploy that like by using like JSON files and all. That's flexibility is there, of course. But with respect to the blueprint, it has a proper relationship between deployment application, relationship between deployment and application. Okay, and the components which is residing in the product, I mean data product. At the same time, and it has a like a connection helps the tracking and auditing the resource governance. That's very important thing. Actually, when we are like going to like how many components we are having inside the data product, let's say like I have a data factory and two data ADLS Gen 2, and I have a Synapse Analytics, and if I have a SQL Server, anything like whatever it could be. And so that everything is like a tracking, auditing purpose as well as the resource governance perspective. So it's going to be a single source of point, so that once we have put everything in the same bucket, so it will be easy for to take it up and we play around with that one. And the blueprint is a native in existence in Azure, obviously, right? So that is like anyway, because Azure actually there are a lot of third party connectivities there, like a Databricks and all. But if you have the in-house thing, that is really a additional value, right? So that it has like a pump, it is going to be like completely like a, tightly coupled with the policies within the Azure. And Azure policies you can use with the blueprint as well. As I mentioned, the specific the mug Azure policy and ARM template combining and giving the robust the facility when I'm using my what is that Azure blueprints, right? And obviously it ensures that the approval changes and are done that resource to protect the compliance as per the standards of the blueprint. Because if you go ahead the like our ARM template, every time when I'm going for my what is that like from lower environment to the higher environment, I need to like get the approval whenever making that changes for it's going to be same kind of component, could be a scalable way, like it could be like a little optimized one, some higher version, higher environment. So by the time we need to get the approval, so many things. But when I'm using the specific the blueprint, so it will be precisely telling that like what exactly we are planning. So during the discussion, meeting discussion and kick off the products discussion, so and architecture design, and when you're planning for component designing authority, by the time, so by the time itself we are designing and we have a proper plan, right? Same thing. What's the downside with this? Of course, so what are the products come to the market, there would be like ups and downs, right? So with respect to this one, uh, design is a less flexibility, because actually obviously we need to put everything cautiously, what are the components we need for the specific data product building. We need to understand that thoroughly, then we'll go ahead for that one. But in the case of ARM template, absolutely there's a more flexible, because it's a completely code based one, so that you can copy and paste that code and you can deploy, then straight away you can go ahead for what is that like started development. But modifying as a necessary when you meet to specific deployment needs, as I mentioned now. So, but in the case of the blueprints, once it's defined, the combo or packaged, the packed one, all together, that's it. Like it's like we cannot decouple the things. Like it's a reworking that is a really painful job. But anyway, but when you have a time, then we need to understand why, what we need, what are the components we need, what are the what is that like, what are the different uh, policies we need to define in a single source and single place, so we can define, we can build the solution and start working with this one. So that is a main thing. But other way around, it has like a predefined and locked consistency, so that, so we need to like once we want to change anything or additionally we need to add, so we need to again, we need to pack newly. That is a big challenge over here. Yes, the Azure Blueprint provides a way to package and deploy the repeatable managed set of source, such as like Azure policies and assignment and ARM temple facilities as a single unit. As I said, definitely my Azure Blueprint sources resource, it's like a power and healthy drink, so that it will be like in one shot, in one stop shot kind of stuff. So I will go and buy the things in like supermarket and all, so I can get all the stuff inside the shop. So I will go and get, no need to go around that, so everything in the packet or ready-made mixtures, so I can mix and drink or mix and eat, something like that. So when I'm using my Azure blueprints, so obviously, so I can get benefit out of the resource management and access policies and monitoring and a role-based access, everything we can easily configure, we can provide with that. That's a mainly, so we can use that one. So if you look at that normal way, so far, so like how we are using with the resource management, we used to create management group and subscription, right? So mostly like when I say developers, they never think about like management group subscription and all. So the team will give the like the operation team will provide the subscription details, like what is the login, what is the stuff, and then like even they used to create all the your resource groups, for one resource group for um, what is that, like development activity, another for testing, another for something else, and again it's going to be a complete multiple things. So normal way we used to work with this, all this flow. And same time, uh, since this is a very data is very sensitive, and we need to align with the data security and data privacy perspective, so we need to define as well as give the access to the right person for the right table, right components, and if required it could be like encrypted way of using a key wallet, everything. So the role based access control we need to implement appropriately when we're doing like the normal way, like how we are already were doing, right? So users and the roles and conditions affecting subscription group, so all these things as comes together. Okay, so this is, I would say, my architecture of Azure blueprint. Yes, of course I can say that. So here, this the focus things, right? The policy definition, access based role, and resource manager template, everything comes as a bundle, as a combo, so that I can just create my Azure blueprint resource. There I can give all the necessary things. Then once it's done, my role based access and my what is that, like the resource things, everything like all together comes here, so that the development activity very easily we can start and we can go ahead, and everything going to be like residing in this the blueprint, so we can work together easily as a like what's it, like packed one. That's a very important thing, but rest of things going to be the same thing, like Azure portal SDK or blah blah, it's going to be the same way, so we can implement this the architecture way. So once we implemented what is that, like started using our um, Azure blueprint, so my Azure governance foundation, the structure will be changed, because my all these components like coming into my along with my the special drink, healthy drink, and then the core network and the overall, it could be like what's that, like it's going to be any web applications, or it's going to be like VMs, and is going to be dealing with the data, or going to be network perspective. So this is not only for anyway, like if you're going to use creating a resource, it's a common. So since I'm with backgrounding from the back data, so my mostly like we are using all the components which is related to the what data specific the components only. So once we're implemented, my Azure governance will be better strong, I would say, and it's like highly reliable than the other way we are doing, because it comes going to be controlled under one umbrella, so that no need like to like waiting for like someone to get access or something else. So when you're building your what is that, like Azure blueprints, so everything like come together, then we can go as a like one side go. That's a very important thing, right? So the life cycle perspective, so here we have a normal way. The life cycle is not a big deal, so it's like I name it as a life cycle. Basically like how you used to create like a resource manager, and how you used to create all your ADLS in it, creating a what's that, resource manager used to create in directly portal. All the components supposed to be clubbed under the uh, what is that, under your resource group, so that we used to create one resource group, and then we'll go for one ADLS and one SQL server, one Azure data factory, or any components we'll create that needs to be comes under the resource group umbrella. So such a way we need to build. So it's the same way here. create a blueprint and define and add the artifacts. Artifacts nothing but here we are talking about the resources and the policies how we are setting. Okay, so in the blueprint, the layer, it's going to be all this stuff, but I've never used this as a custom script, but mostly the configuring all the role based access and policy definitions and all, and ARM template is like getting inside of my blueprint. So the secured foundational resource, this bundle is a combo. Once it's done, then I can give like a subscription so the people can started using my environment, right? So this is a basic thing, but we have a lot of other process or internally. I don't want to confuse. So since actually it's just 45-minute discussion, so if you want, like probably we can connect later. So expand the solution how we are implementing using the Azure blueprint. So here the simple steps, as I mentioned the earlier one, as we know that the most of the resources Azure have the natural life cycle, and blueprint also in a blueprint also no different that is such way to create and deploy easily. It's a very simple way. So creating a blueprint and publishing the blueprint, right? And in between we have a lot of stuff. I'll show the screenshot. Okay, and creating and editing the new versions of the blueprint is of course how we are doing that, and publishing the new version of the so version management. So that's a very important thing here, and deleting the specific version of the blueprint, so that if you want to like make an archive, we can do that, or else like we keep on updating the new version, and like altogether deleting all the blueprint together. So if my environment is done, so no need to go and delete how you're deleting your resource group, right? The same way, but here when you're deleting your Azure blueprint, so the access policies and resource and template, everything will be destroyed, so that it's going to be a flattered ground, and again we can rebuild if you want anything in the space, or else like you can cost effectively we can work on that. So here it's going to be another few slides is going to be like steps, so how to create the things. So I don't want to like go ahead step by step, so it's because of time constraint. So as usual way, how we are opening your the other sources, the same way we can get into the Azure portal and finding that blueprints, typing that. Once we get that, so we able to get that blueprint, and that's going to be a kind of what is that, a portal will display the specific screen, and then you can create as usual way where you are creating the steps. There's nothing is a rocket science here. Then ages we are doing creating a lot of stuff inside the Azure portal. So the same way we can create that one. And so once we created your blueprint, the base thing, and we need to give the name of the description as usual, like want to find out like the things, and choose the management group and subscription table, the blueprints of stuff, and one by one. So after we are given the name of the group, then we started adding the as I mentioned, like add artifacts is nothing but a collection of the role based assignment, and what kind of the access we are going to provide. So everything we can give one by one as a steps as go. It's a user easily way. Anyway, once I share these slides with the team, so probably you can get it from them. Then probably you can try it out yourself. It's a straightforward, no magic and no nothing like the major what is the challenges here, right? So once we added the policy assignment and build the things, the tags, so it's like going to go through steps one by one. It's a very simple and easily understandable way we can build. So straightforward solution. So here we have like based on your requirement, the steps could be like a 10 steps or 15 steps. So like a number of components or number of the access policy we're adding. So the steps might be differ, or else it's going to be very short and sweet. We can go ahead and deploy your stuff. And same time, as I mentioned, like we need to add the roles, and then like we need to add our the template. So when you get ready with this, so if there is a provision, so we can go and save with one. So you can ask me like again, we need to like change the RM template, and we need to put, yeah, this is an easy facility so that we can manage the other way. So that's a very important thing. So that's a new features. I mean, like that feature is available. So if you look at here under the subscription, I have my user, and then like a policy assignment, everything, and is here my resource group, and this stuff. Just I'm creating my ARM template. So once it's done, then in the specific the blueprint, so I have all the components and all the things what we have discussed so far. It's available inside my the combo. So okay, so the packed one is a tightly packed and coupled one, so that once it's get ready, so we can start accessing the resource like development team. So hey, just go and started working on this blueprint. So this is your subscription. Try to connect with this one. So everything will be there. So well prepared, well planned one. So there is a challenges as I mentioned earlier. So it's going to be like something is missed out. It's really challenging. Need to go and rework and like unpack that, and need to edit and modify that as usual. But the main thing, once we started the practicing, that practice will help us to build precisely what we need, what are the components we need, what are the access we need, and then that's it. The pack is ready, so that you can call the team, we can hand over the things to the bundle to them, ask them to develop as per the requirement. That is a major thing we can do. And anyways, right, in Azure, the most of the components they're playing with is the simple click buttons, right? So not much coding, right? So codeless, no code, or low code, whatever it is. So when you say like Azure environment is a low code, no code, whatever the terminology you can call it out. So in the single click or multiple clicks, so you can achieve a job, not only for creating the creating a resource and all, even like kind of like ETL job, ELTL job and all. Probably you might know that the same thing. So we can build this Azure blueprint, so our headaches will be less. Okay, and here it's going to be like a resource group as a subscription. So we have a hierarchy options, and Azure Resource Manager template, subscription resource group. So this is actually a pretty much like the how the rated with us here. A role assignment, subscription under the role group, and subscription rows group, and the same thing like it's everything comes under. This is the resource group, Azure Resource Manager template, and policy assignment, and the role assignment. All the resources we need to create, and it's like a specific the thing. I don't want to go through line by line. So once it's get ready, then so we can get done the things, and we can start our building our product. So if we have the proper plan, okay, so once we have started building your home, your dream home, once we decide I want to have a 3 bedroom, and it could be like attached to restroom along with that, and it could be one common one like a living room, and we have one dining hall, and different what are the ventilation provision we are going to give, how many windows, how many doors, and what are the different like ventilations we are providing, and what is that like electrical pump, electrical and plumbing work, what are the how many taps, everything we decided. So our job is very easy, right? So nowadays when I'm building that the these this kind of work, so what they are doing, they have a complete package, they have a checklist as a system. So once it's done, so nothing is missed out. The same way, when started using the blueprint, we should have a proper, what is that like a set of what are the resource, and what is the policies, what is the there other the major things, the painful things we need to accommodate within the blueprint. List out that and put everything inside, so we can serve as a very easily with our team, not only for development team, and it could be like capable for deployment testing team and UAT perspective. Otherwise, people may be missed out the some components, so that we will go and find out the ARM template again, where which one is that. There might be like we need to increase or not, those challenges, because actually when I working with that, so people will started with the development environment, but after then I'm moving to the UAT or testing environment, definitely they'll miss out something. By the time they'll started asking where is this, where is that, okay. And main thing when I go into the production, so when I go into the production, it's a very like, seriously we need to understand like what we need, because so from the development and the UIT till UAT, really journeys was like peaceful we can go, but when I'm moving everything to the production, the environment is robust, so we carefully need to handle that. So So this specific practice, the best practices point of view, when you're building all these different layers. So if you know those things, like what are the things we need, then by using all this like a culture, then we are moving to the production. So our job is very easy. So we won't miss out anything, even going to be like a policy perspective or resource perspective or access perspective. So we very much clear about that. Then we can go ahead. And here the like here majorly, so we have a controlled way of accessing the resource group. That's a very important things, like so not easily like cannot access the outside the stuff, right? So this is the benefit out using the blueprint. We have discussed so many things so far, but the cost effective, yes, of course, when we're building any product, anything, the cost effective is very important. So as I mentioned multiple times, so when you're using the Azure blueprint, it makes it possible for development teams to rapidly build and start up the new environment with a trustworthy environment, so that no need to weightage, or like so we can have the appropriate things, like we need to scaling up, scaling down, what are the things we can implement. So with the help of well planned blueprint concepts, so we can go ahead and build the components, I mean like build the data product without any hesitation, or else without any issues or challenges, or like something like pushing back and we couldn't go and search the things, what are the missing components, something else, right? And creating, okay, I don't want to go through this one. This is for a fundamental resources, lock of fundamental resources. Only the thing, as I said, like it's a downstream, it's locked one. So we need something to change, means we need to unpack and we need to search. For example, you're traveling, by the time you will put everything in your suitcase, then you'll get ready. Then suddenly if you want to like think about, hey, I missed something, right? Razor, or else like just find out, I forgot like my what is that, something like some wallet or bags or whatever it is. So again you need to open up the bag and we need to search. So that is a really painful job. But by practicing this culture, by using the Azure blueprints, definitely our job will be easy and faster way we can build. Okay, so here I'm concluding my uh, session. So if you have any questions, anything, so we can discuss now.
Hi Shantababu, this is Vipul here.
Sorry.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I was asking uh, we have the Azure policies which we can apply at the subscription and a management group level. So, uh, is it like this blueprint can accommodate Azure policies and template together and can be applied across, or like is it different totally?
No, this is what actually. So the steps, as I showed, right? Actually, there are the multiple steps are there. So we need to add the policies one by one. So if you look at my slides, so there are a bunch of the activities one by one. Which one is? Yeah, pages. Those steps actually, if you go through this, because I don't go through line by line here. Okay, so once we're done with this, what is that? Yeah. So if you look at the specific thing, so you need to create the subscription and what is that, like your access role assignment, and then your resource group underneath, like you need to add all the components, so that you have to follow the steps, so that your Azure blueprint, the package. See, for example, if you want to cook something, analogy, you'll take the some analogy of making of cooking the some food, right? So you can assumption, like for example, if you're going to make a cup of coffee, then first of all you need to put like the milk you want to warm it up, and once it's get boiled, then you have to put the what's coffee powder, instant coffee powder, and the sugar based on your taste, and then started that like mixing with thoroughly, and then you can started drink that. For simple analogy I'm saying. So if you're going to be complex making some dishes, so we need to get ready with some basic ingredients and put the oil and started boiling that, and then like keep on adding the other ingredients, and finally you put out some vegetables and thoroughly mix that. The same way we have some steps for building the blueprint. if you follow that one, that definitely won't miss out anything, right? So that's what I said. If you maintain as a like a culture and the habit and the best practices point of view, so definitely once we did for your one data product, so the upcoming product, definitely you have a knowledge on this one, so you won't miss out anything. So ultimately you can start your development quickly. Otherwise, each and every time we need to go and find out whether this component required or that component required. By based on the experience, we can do that. So if like more than 10 years, for example, if I'm asking me, so you want to implement stream analytics or else like it's going batch analytics, I want to implement quickly. I can write out the components. What are the components required? Quickly, I can write it down. But access policy point of view, then I little lagging because I need to understand what are the resources going to be work on this project, right? How many resources they are going to work. So those things we
Okay.
have to be thoroughly understand that. So that way, definitely this is a kind of a best practices point of view we can utilize and we can benefit out of that. Yeah, you got my answer. Yeah,
Yes, I got it. So it's a kind of a generalized template which can be leveraged whenever we are starting a project, right? Like as a best practice.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So any more questions? No. Feroz?
Yeah, thanks, Shantababu.
Yep,
I don't think we have any other questions as such.
yep.
Uh, I will stop the recording with that.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much
Thank
for
you.
your time.